Hey everybody, welcome to my kitchen this morning. I am very excited. I have a project that I'm working on today and I know that you're going to enjoy this, and I wanted to share it with you as well as share it with my Aunt Gladys. Late yesterday afternoon, my Aunt Gladys, who is in her upper 80s, called me and said that she had gone out and looked at her satsuma trees and there were still lots of satsumas that needed to be picked. And she invited me and Doug to come over this morning and pick some for me and my sister. Well, my sister, her name is Martha, and she right now she's in an assisted living home, and she's right down the street from me, and I get to visit her often. So she'll be excited too to get some satsumas from Aunt Gladys. So I decided that I needed to take her something, and I decided that I would just make some potato soup with ham. It's delicious. My family loves it. I know that you'll love it too. So come on in and let's get started and make this potato soup. I'll begin by telling you what I'm going to put in it. The first thing that I'm going to do is to peel and dice 6 medium potatoes, and today I'm using the red potatoes. I like to use those because they seem to hold up better when you boil them and stay in whole chunks rather than falling apart. I'm using a medium-sized onion that I have chopped, and we'll be adding that. We'll be cooking the potatoes and the onions together to begin with. I'll show you how we do that. And then after the potatoes and the onions are done, we're going to add 1 stick of butter. Now that's a half a cup. A stick is a half a cup. A half a cup of plain flour, 1 teaspoon parsley flakes, and I'm just using that in the little container today. If you have fresh parsley, of course you can use that. And then I'm going to add 2 cups of whole milk, of course salt and pepper, and then I'm going to add 8 ounces or a cup of diced ham. Now if you have ham in your kitchen, if you've baked a ham or you have some leftover ham in your freezer, you can certainly use that. But I didn't have any ham, so I went to the grocery store and I found some in this little package, and it's already diced. In fact, it's called diced ham, and there's 8 ounces in this, so it's perfect for the recipe that I'm going to be making today. So let's get started. I'll bring you in and we'll start making this potato soup. It's real easy. It won't take very long to do it. I have peeled and diced our potatoes. Remember, we are working with 6 medium-sized potatoes, and I have peeled them and diced them and placed them in this large saucepan. To that, I'm going to add the small onion that I have peeled and diced. Just going to put that in there like that and stir it around a little bit. Next, I'm going to add some salt. And the salt and pepper is just to taste, so ever how much you need or you want will be fine. Now I'm going to cover the potatoes in water. This is really important what I'm doing now. I'm adding water, and I'm going, once the potatoes are done, we're going to need to save 4 cups of water. So I'm just going to go ahead and put probably 8 cups of water in the potatoes to use for boiling the potatoes, so that I'll make sure that I have enough. I don't think that much will cook out of this, but I want to make sure that I have 4 cups of water after I drain the potatoes. So I'm going to take this over to the stove. I'm going to boil the potatoes until they're done, and then I'll come back and we'll put the rest of the ingredients in the soup and finish it, and it won't take long once these potatoes are done. Our potatoes and onions are done. I have drained them through a colander into this pan, and remember, I have saved the water, and we're going to be adding 4 cups of the water to the soup. But the first thing that I'm going to do is to add the butter. Remember, we have 1 stick of butter, And I let mine sit out to get room temperature because it melts so much faster than if you just pull it straight out of the refrigerator and it's cold. Even though our potatoes are hot, it'll go faster for you if you just take your butter out and let it begin to soften. So I'm just gonna melt the butter first, and I want it all to be melted before I add anything else. So just stirring this around gently to melt the butter. Next, I'm going to add a 1/2 cup of plain flour. Just kind of stir that around a little bit. And next, I'm going to add our ham, 8 ounces of diced ham. And I'm going to go ahead and add our parsley, 1 teaspoon of parsley flakes. I'm going to gently mix all of this together. It's looking good. I love potato soup. And this ham gives you a little bit of protein to go with it. So now we're ready to add the water. This is hot, so I'm just going to bring it over. And I know that I'm using a dry measuring cup, but it'll be okay, I promise you. So now I'm going to add 4 cups of the potato water, the water that I boiled the potatoes in. That's 2, and that's 3, and that's 4, and I'm going to add just a little bit more because the last 2 were not quite filled when I dipped it and put it in there. So I'm just going to stir this around like this. It's beginning to look like soup. Yum. And last, I'm going to add the 2 cups of whole milk. Stirring that around. Now, I'm going to place this back on the stove on medium heat, and once it gets really hot, I'm going to cook it for about 5 minutes, and our soup will be ready. It'll begin to thicken, and you'll know that it's done once the potato soup gets thick. So here we go, back on the stove for 5 minutes, and I'll be back. Our soup is done, and I wanted to bring it over and show you how it looks. It has both ham and potato, and it's gonna be so delicious. It's ready to serve, and I'm gonna let it cool so I can dip some for Aunt Gladys, and we're gonna go over and see her. So I'll see you again in just a second, and I hope you'll make some of this soup really, really soon. Okay, it's as simple as that. That's how you make potato soup with ham. I hope you'll try it really soon. As always, thank you so much for coming into our home, into our kitchen. Thank you for watching and liking and sharing our videos. That's what keeps us going. So until we do this again, and until I see you next time, I hope you have a blessed day, and I will see you again really, really soon.